watching women's college gymnastics on the ACC network. We've got the matchup many have been waiting for between the NC State Wolfpack and the inaugural season of the Clemson Tigers. Let's take a quick look at where everyone's at in the ACC. You can see right now, NC State is the only team in the conference that is completely undefeated. Coming into the conference, coming into tonight's meet, ranked number 2. Clemson just slightly ahead in that number 1 slot. I'm Rachel Garland alongside a former Georgia Gym Dog, Sydney Sneed. And Sydney, what can we expect out of these two just phenomenal programs today?
Well, Rachel, we have the number 1 and the number 2 team in the ACC right now. So it's going to be a head-to-head battle on each event tonight. NC State could clinch the regular season title with a win, though.
Absolutely, and Clemson is actually looking for redemption because NC State won on their home turf just a couple of weeks ago, so I know they are excited to perform back. We're going to take a look at NC State last week in their meet against North Carolina, where they just had a knockout of a meet, 8 career highs for several gymnasts, balance beam coming in with a 49.4, so one of their season highs, one of the best in program history, and that 196.725 mark was their best score of this 2024 campaign, but also it's been the highest score in the ACC so far. We're going to take a look at Emily Shepard, who has just been the performer for this Wolfpack team.
Emily Shepard has just been a star for this NC State team, having now won 3 straight ACC Gymnast of the Week honors. She has an all-around total of a 39.525 in NC State's last outing against North Carolina, which ranks as the 5th highest 4-event score in program history. So she's a 1 of 4 gymnast in NC State history to hit a 39.5 all-around mark.
Absolutely, and the Clemson all-arounder Rebecca Wells, again, another phenomenal gymnast. What can we expect?
She actually was the first gymnast to ever perform a routine for Clemson, so really cool stat there and fun facts, but she's just been such a strong and consistent athlete on this team. You see her getting better each and every competition and every meet, so I'm really excited just to see that grit and power that she brings to competition.
Absolutely, she is the leadoff on both vault and bar, so as these teams go head-to-head, we are going to see her in that first spot for both of these events. We're going to get this competition underway for the NC State Wolfpack. We've got Maddie Hall in the first spot. There you see the lineup on the side of your screen. NC State, a phenomenal mix of freshmen and some up-and-comers, but they've also got their triple threat in 3 graduate students that make up more than half of the routines we're going to see perform.
Starting off with their Yurchenko full. Nicely done, a great way to start this vault lineup. Clean, nice landing, distance from the table. That's going to be a strong score.
Absolutely. We're going to jump back over to the uneven bar. So again, Rebecca Wells is going to be the leadoff for these Clemson Tigers. And we've got a fantastic mix. The Clemson team, again, 6 transfer students that moved over with head coach Amy Smith. So she was the head coach at Utah State for 5 years, and she brought 6 gymnasts with her that were just really excited about building something new. Rebecca, one of the seniors that is a transfer from Utah State. She was their first ever, like you said, the first ever leadoff person, but also the first ever all-around winner in program history.
We saw her do that big Tkachev release move, and now ends with that full twisting double back, a little bit short with her chest down on that landing. So that is going to be a deduction. But again, another strong leadoff performance.
So we'll take a quick look at head coach Amy Smith, again, in the inaugural season for this program. And she said earlier in the season, before taking this job, you know, when do you have the opportunity to be able to start a P5 program? And she has taken it and just absolutely run with it. So Lex Ortega on the vault.
Another Yurchenko full. Good distance on that. They're really going to want to get those landings. That's what Kim Landris was telling us about earlier this week, is just the attention to detail, and the biggest thing are those landings.
We'll take another quick replay. So Lex Ortega, again, one of those graduate students out of Tampa, Florida. Last week, a 9.775 on this event.
You can see really good directionally right behind the table, but again, just that hop backwards that's going to be that deduction.
So back over to the uneven bars, Eve Jackson. There you see, she's actually a redshirt junior from Los Angeles, another one of the transfers from Utah State. You saw her season average there, a little above that 9.8. She went 9.8 last week, so again, a very consistent score for the Tigers.
The judges are really looking for those handstands on top of the bar. Really big Jaeger straight into that bail. I love the height that she got on that. Back up to the high bar with another good handstand. Getting ready for that dismount, another full twisting double back. Holds on to that stick. You can see her chest was leading and she was gripping her toes into the mat.
Absolutely. We're going to take a look at the replay here from Eve Jackson. She is actually number 2 in the conference on this event. I think we can see why.
Absolutely. Great job on that stick.
Out of the top 10 in the ACC conference, Clemson has 5 of those spots.
Wow.
Out of their lineup of 6 gymnasts, 5 of them are in the top 10 in the ACC rankings as it stands. Eve coming in again at that number 2 spot. We're going to move back over to Krista Zoltovich for the Wolfpack on vault.
Yurchenko full. She held that landing. Looked like she almost hopped in place, so not sure that her feet actually moved backwards, but we'll take another look here on the replay. You can see nice block off the table.
I don't know what they're going to do with that.
She was gripping her feet into the mat as well to hold that. So love to see the fight on these landings.
Absolutely. Last week she went 9.825, which is one of the career highs for the Wolfpack team. Back over to Clemson, Lily Lippett, a fantastic freshman coming in. She was a former elite gymnast, so she has just made a huge impact on this team.
You can see why she started with that huge Hindorf as her release move into that pack salto, which is very difficult. You don't see many of those in collegiate gymnastics.
And she actually fell on this routine last week, only ended up at a 9.125, but she recorded the first 9.9 in program history. And again, I think we can see exactly why. 2-time ACC Newcomer of the Week.
She finished that routine with a stick.
And she's actually the only one not ranked in the top 10, but I believe because she had that fall last week, it bumped her out a little bit. So Ashley Knight, we had a freshman on bars. We've got a freshman on vault from Greensboro, and Ashley has just, again, stepped into this lineup. She's typically a vault and floor specialist, and her power is unbelievable.
Yeah, her vault, it's one of my favorites to watch by far. You're just going to see the huge block she gets, the height she gets off the table on this front handspring, front pike half.
This is actually the only 10-0 start value in the Wolfpack lineup.
Huge height. Wow. I thought she had that stick. That was so close.
Shuffle of the feet.
You know, and we're watching her warm-ups, and she's always sticking them. So I'm waiting for that one to hit in competition. This one was pretty close. Notice how high she gets. Wow, it's easy. She drops out of it almost as a stick.
That little shuffle, but since she moved both feet, it'll probably be at least a 10th deduction. Interesting thing is NC State, again, they've got 5 out of 6, only starting from a 9.95, so it already puts them at a slight disadvantage from the Tigers, who have numerous 10.0 start values.
Those tenths do add up at the end of the events and at the end of competition, which could make a difference
Absolutely.
And your total score.
Caitlin de Guzman currently up for the Tigers.
Notice her toe point throughout the routine. Even throughout the most difficult areas, you just can see her feet are so pointed. Yeah, it's beautiful to watch.
She's actually a transfer from Kentucky, one of the graduate students, career high of a 9.925. And again, the lines and the toe point is gorgeous to watch.
Especially from the judges' angle, you can see them on the sides. They're really looking for those handstands on top of the bar, that really nice form all the way throughout the bar routines.
Absolutely. Guzman actually #1 in the ACC on uneven bars. All right, we'll take our first look at all-arounder Emily Shepard, graduate student out of Kansas.
Nicely done. Yurchenko full. Almost looked like she was a little high on the table, but was still able to get that block off. And again, looked like she stuck it. We'll see again here.
Sometimes with that 4-inch mat, it gives a
right.
little bit, so it's an allure of the movement, but
she broke out of that vault, so looked like she did.
Absolutely phenomenal. Again, 3-time ACC Gymnast of the Week, tied for 4th on vault in the rankings. And we'll get our first look at former Wolfpack gymnast Lauren Rutherford, one of the transfers that again wanted to be part of this inaugural program.
She's always such a pleasure to watch. Another big release move. Down to that failed a handstand. See if she can get this stuck dismount. Double layout. Wow, she got it.
It's always interesting for the traveling team or the away team because a lot of times you're going to arenas that you don't know. Rutherford competed in this arena for numerous years, so it's almost like coming back.
Absolutely. You can see in that double layout dismount, nicely done. Really found that landing and was controlled throughout.
All right, Negretti, who is currently ranked #1 on this event. Again, a graduate student out of Frisco, Texas.
We're going to be looking for a stick here. So close, but again, beautifully done. Yurchenko full. All of NC State's vaults, I love just the distance from the table to the landing and the directional. There were no directional issues, and so that is something that the judges notice when scoring. Can see right here. Good height, good distance, just the smallest little hop back.
Absolutely, and again, we talked to Coach Landris prior to the meet on what improvements have you been working on. Outside of the amplitude that they're looking at, it's got to be those landings. When you're already down from 995 star values and you're taking a 10th on each landing, it's such a disadvantage. All right, Trinity Brown for the Tigers. Brown actually took Rutherford's spot last week as she was out a little bit sick and under the weather.
And so far, she's done a great job throughout this routine with that huge Shaposh and then another really nicely done double layout. She is pumped about that with that stuck landing. Wow. See it again here on the replay. Notice the height on that double layout, and wow, her body position through the air, it just stopped. She just dropped out of it.
That is what the pictures that they have in their code of points and the book that the judges go by, like that was exactly what they're looking at. So last week at 9.775, I imagine it's going to be higher than that.
Yeah, I would agree.
All right, and we've got one exhibition for the Wolfpack.
Now, that was a half, which is very difficult because it's a blind landing. So it's not the complete full twist, but really nicely done.
Yeah, she did a fantastic job on that. And again, they've got 3 of their gymnasts on most events that are going to be graduating and no longer eligible for competition, and so you've got to start putting people in to give them some of that experience, which is a great opportunity in that exhibition spot. So we've got an exhibition with Clemson as well. I believe this is Dakota Berry, who actually exhibition last week. Again, giving them some experience on the competition floor for when the seniors and the graduate students have to end up moving on.
Absolutely. It's also good to have that exposure as well, because gymnastics season is long and it's really hard on your body. So if you have the ability to have such depth in your lineup where you can switch people in and out per meet, that is such a nice thing to be able to do.
All right, well, that concludes rotation number 1. Again, we've got a strong matchup. You see the score in the bottom right hand of the corner. We're going to take a quick break. We'll flip-flop events and be back in just a few minutes.